Painting nurse stories, I cooked an entire Thanksgiving dinner and was not allowed to eat it. As someone that grew up celebrating each and every holiday with the utmost enthusiasm, thanks to my creative and generous family, I did not quite grasp why other people would make it a point to not celebrate any specific day over another. My patient tried to explain it to me about how each day was a gift and should be celebrated as any other, but I found myself questioning how going out of my way to show my gratitude to the other people in my life was a bad thing. Regardless, I knew how my patient felt about it, so I showed up for my shift at my patient's home on the morning of Thanksgiving and expected a day like any other. I anticipated giving some medications, some breathing treatments, helping them to get showered and changed, cooking them some food, cleaning some of their house, and keeping an eye on their vitals. But when I walked through the door, the patient let me know they were having some guests that would be visiting that day, and so I would be cooking them some food in case they got hungry. My patient had worked in a restaurant prior to becoming ill, and I cooked often at the house. I would cook delicious recipes from scratch, following the step-by-step guidelines the patient would direct me to follow. It started out simple enough. I would need to boil some eggs, slice up some cheese, put out some crackers and raw vegetables. Then I was instructed to dice potatoes, snap off the ends of green beans, and zest an orange. The patient would have me boiling, sautéing, and roasting various components all at once, and I'd be taking mental notes the entire time, trying to commit the process to memory so that I could reproduce it later for my own family and friends. I began seeing the full picture, however, when fresh cranberries were added to a pot, a turkey breast tucked into the oven, and cubed bread mixed with herbs and butter. I began wondering if she had intentionally had me jumping from one task to another so that I wouldn't realize what was happening. I made sure to keep any comments to myself over the traditional feast that had been cooked, and I set the table to her liking. I couldn't help but marvel how incredible of a meal I had single-handedly cooked over a few hours under her tutelage. My stomach growled and my mouth watered, but the patient made it clear we would be waiting for her guests before getting any for ourselves. She sat at the table and stared at the food, and we waited. Lunchtime came and went. Hours went by. The food grew cold and dry. Eventually, the patient had me wrap up a couple items needing refrigeration to put away. Late in the day, a knock came, and 3 family members trickled in. They said they couldn't stay long, that they had already eaten, but complimented the patient over how good the food looked, and they were off again with no introduction to me. The disappointment was palpable, as I imagined the patient was trying to convince herself that today was, again, not special and in no way different than any other, and as such, she would console herself silently, barely speaking to me for the rest of the shift. I put away the remaining food per her instruction, noting the lack of invitation to have a plate or take any home, something that was normally offered. When I left that shift, I got in my car and I laughed. I could never have predicted I would be employed as a nurse and required to cook an entire Thanksgiving meal by myself and not be allowed to have one single bite. It was absurd, and it still makes me laugh to think about today. Thanks for listening. Follow for more. Let me know if you've ever cooked a feast and did not eat it.